healing conversation about the benefits, challenges, and real-life struggles of living healthy, well, fit, and free. Real discussion for real people who want real change. My Better Living. This podcast is being broadcast on Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams. You can download Power Plug Radio app on Google Play or the Apple iStore. Don't forget to subscribe to the Power Plug Radio YouTube, where you can catch My Better Living live every Tuesday night. And visit www.powerplugradio.com to find out how you can sponsor the next episode.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of My Better Living. It is Tuesday at 8:30, my favorite day of the week. This is episode 8, and today we are talking all about fad diets and food addictions. Shout out to everyone first. Shout out to everyone watching live on Power Plug Radio YouTube, as well as those that understood the assignment and they downloaded the Power Plug Radio app and they're now listening live. It is March 1st. March 1st.
Doesn't that month just sound progressive? March.
Oh,
Doesn't
I like
it sound progressive? It sounds like action.
Yes.
Get to it.
By the way, this is Nurse Shar, and this is my co-host,
LaTreca.
Hey.
Ali.
Hey. So hello to March. It is National Nutrition Month. So we just left out of February. It's National Nutrition Month. And all month long, our theme is You Are What You Eat. So all month long, we're going to be talking about different topics related to food and the things that we're eating and our bellies and our gut. This week, we're doing fad diets and food addiction. But I would be really remiss if I didn't close out February and say what an awesome Black History Month. I had a great time last month. How about you?
Yes, I did.
The focus of 2022 Black History Month was the theme was Black health and wellness, which I thought was a perfect theme. And all month long, we talked about matters of the heart, and it was great conversation, great topics, awesome guests that came through, and I loved it. What was the best thing that happened to you in February?
Well, the best thing that happened to me in February was my 1-year anniversary.
Hey, that's something to celebrate.
2022.
Really?
That was the anniversary date.
That's awesome.
And I got a new car out of the deal.
Hey.
Woo! Mercedes.
That's like early Christmas.
Yes. So that was the best thing that happened to me in February.
Hey, that's something to celebrate. I would say the best thing that happened to me in February was getting a chance to speak at 2 very important events that happened in the community. One was the natural hair, the 7th annual Natural Hair, Health, and Beauty Expo that happened at the Coliseum. I'm so thankful for that opportunity to speak and do that workshop. Also at the campaign kickoff for Liberated and Living Well. I am so excited about that campaign that Dr. LaDonna Butler, founder of the Wealth for Life and executive director, is pushing and founded. So those are the 2 best things that happened to me, and I'm so excited for those things. I'm excited to do the natural expo again, the natural experience again. That was a good time. So I'm excited to do that again.
Good. I'd love to check that out with you next time.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and hop into it. National Nutrition Month. We're focused on fad diets and food addiction this week. So fad diets, those things that come around, everybody's trying it. Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about how to spot a fad diet, right? And then maybe I'll tell you maybe we'll talk some fad diet stories. Okay. So there's a certain way that fad diets approach how they market, how it gets out there, what it's intended to do. So here's some ways that you can spot a fad diet. One is that they promise a quick fix. So let me think of an ad that just, or lose 10 pounds in 10 days. You ever saw those things on the newsstand? You
Yes,
see them all the
every
time.
Still today. You can go today in public.
Lose 10 pounds in 10 days. I mean, natural weight loss is 1 to 2 pounds per week. You'll probably lose a lot of weight initially depending on how much you have to lose. And so initially you might, hit more closer to the 2 pound mark. But, 1 to 2 pounds is average. If you're losing more than that weekly, something's going on. Sometimes maybe they just claim something that's too good to be true. Lose all your belly fat. Like, lose belly fat. I mean, how much belly fat we talking?
Right. And you can't really spot lose.
Right.
There are things that target belly fat for sure, like ginger and green tea, but you can't really spot lose.
Right. That's the other thing, is that they focus on one body part. And it's usually the belly.
Yes. Or building other things like the booty. It's spot. Yeah.
Something else is that they completely restrict. Look for things that completely restrict you from doing something, or, that you probably wouldn't always do, like I would say with the keto diet, I don't necessarily know if I call keto a fad diet, but I don't know. That's one that's on the fence for me, because I mean, it restricts you from really eating like a lot of fruit,
Yeah.
because it has like, or the, the Atkins. Are they the same thing?
I don't know. I don't.
That restricts you from eating a lot of fruit. They tell you to stick to like berries. Berries are good. They have antioxidants. But
juicy fruits are necessary.
I like mangoes. I like watermelon. I like,
watermelon is a superfood. Like, truth be told, but people
like
trying
things.
watermelon.
I like a mango. I love a good mango. Well,
we're only
bananas sometimes.
We're only made of water and sugar. Literally, if you deduce it, it all becomes either water or sugar, and that's in fruit.
So that's another thing to look for, something that completely restricts you from, eating something. And sometimes it may be something that's really good for you, So, or they tell you only eat this, like, for how long?
Yeah.
How long are we doing this? How long am I only eating this? So let's talk. Have you ever heard of the Cabbage? Remember the Cabbage Diet? I don't know if you ever heard of it.
I've heard of it, but I didn't know what it was.
Cabbage soup that they basically they used to feed to people in the hospitals, so that they could, like, if they were going into surgery or something like that, or recovering from surgery, they would feed them cabbage soup for like an extended period of time. So you're supposed to like eat this soup, and there's certain days and times when you can eat the soup. So like today you eat the soup, you eat as much of the soup as you want between this time, and then the next day you only eat this much of the soup at this time.
Okay.
It was such. I mean, of course you're gonna lose weight. I mean, you're just eating soup,
right?
And other than that, you're not eating anything. You're probably miserable. You're just gonna lose weight just from the misery alone. I mean, that's a lot of cabbage soup.
That's a lot. I would get
and then
tired
like
of
it'll
it.
even say, it used to even say like you can eat as much as you want.
I don't want that much cabbage soup every day.
They might get anything else. And I remember the cabbage soup at the time, like it didn't have meat in it.
Oh my goodness. It makes me think of Willy Wonka, the original one. Remember when they were all at home and all they ate was cabbage soup for the whole year, or every day? That was their
cabbage soup. That's what you eat for like 10 days. And so that's one fad diet that I think I remember where, I don't know. Like, I don't know where I got that from, but it was like on a piece of paper. I must have been in like high school.
Yeah.
And somebody gave me like the fact that I was doing cabbage soup diets in high school.
You tried it? You tried the cabbage soup diet?
Yeah. I mean,
did it work?
I told you lose weight just from being miserable. I mean, I don't remember. I was in high school. I probably if it did, I probably didn't notice.
Right,
I mean,
you were in high school. Right.
I don't know what I was thinking.
Hey, you were young, and we all tried things.
Cabbage soup, though. I ate a lot of cabbage soup. I just remember eating a lot of cabbage soup, and it came like on instructions on like a piece of paper. You were like, cabbage soup. But I ate the cabbage soup.
Okay.
So, there's that. So there's just a couple things. What are some other things you can think of that's like screams fad diet? Like this is something that's probably not here to stay.
I'm trying to think of it because I never really did a diet. Like
That's good.
Thanks. But I don't know when I tell this next part.
Listen, I've tried a lot
if I
of
felt like I
diets.
need to lose weight, I just literally just ate less. That's what I did.
Well, there's a thought.
That's all I. Because
I mean,
you were
I
talking
say
about
that and I laugh
school.
because that is the basic thought of losing weight is to burn more energy than you consume. That's very smart.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, because when you're talking about high school, I remember that I wanted to lose weight in my midsection. Because prom or something was coming up. I remember this white dress that I had, and it was all sparkly and stuff. And I wanted to lose weight. So for like 2 days, I didn't eat very much.
Oh
but
my God.
it gave me what I wanted in the dress. So like, I mean, I would see like my family members trying
considered a fad diet.
Yeah, but I never asked
Starvation.
enough. Yeah, I remember hearing names like Atkins Diet and
Yeah.
South Beach Diet, but I never really looked.
Yeah, the South Beach diet
Right.
was another one that was pretty.
Yeah, and I never really looked much into what it was. I didn't really ask questions because I wasn't interested.
Listen, I've tried a lot of diets, y'all.
I want to eat
I've
what
tried
I
a lot
want.
of
I can just eat
diets.
less.
I tried well, I wouldn't really call this a diet, but it was more like a what do you call it? Weight loss management system.
Okay,
But I call it Weight Watchers. I mean, it's Weight Watchers.
Oh, yeah.
It was like some kind of so it's not really a diet. It's more like a weight loss management system.
Yeah,
where you
yeah.
assign points.
Bally's, like stuff like Bally's and Jenny Craig. And
Was
stuff.
that the same thing?
Were they like weight loss management?
I don't know.
They had plans. They had plans.
But I know the Weight Watchers, the way it works is that you assign points to foods. So depending on how much you weighed and how much you wanted to lose, you just ate a certain point range, which I guess made it easy. It's almost like color coding. I mean,
I remember that.
Coloring by numbers, so each food, so nothing was off limits,
Points.
right?
Yep, the points
but it was
diet.
just a matter of how much, like, did you want to risk your points for whatever it is that you were going to eat?
How many
right?
points did you get in a day? Do you remember? Like, about how many did you have?
I don't remember the exact number, but let's just say, I'm just going to give an arbitrary number. Say you had 158 points. I feel like that seems high, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know.
So how much would a Hershey bar be?
So
Like a Hershey bar.
A Hershey bar would be a lot of points. So a Hershey bar would probably be a lot of points, but things like an apple, this like 5 points or something like that, something low. So the whole name of the game, it was like a game, right? So you had to find the foods that had the lowest points, and you eat more of those, and then you can splurge on so nothing was off limits, right? So let's just say like I would save up my points, right? And they tell you that you can't save your points, but you can save your points, especially if it's like over some time. So let's
You
just
can like
say,
roll them over like minutes.
Well, I used to roll mine over. Not really roll them over, but so hear me out, right? I would, let's just say I knew that something was coming up on the weekend or whatever. I would eat less and consume less points during the week, and then that way I can eat pizza with my friends on the weekend and not feel bad about it. Even though it probably would have taken me over my points for the day, but I used to think, well, cumulatively, I gave up a lot of points during the week. So,
I mean, cheat days are necessary.
Right.
Absolutely.
So
necessary.
I like the concept of Weight Watchers. I wonder what happened to Weight Watchers. I don't know if Weight Watchers is still around, but I wonder what happened to Weight Watchers. So that was an interesting diet. I told you about the cabbage soup diet.
Yeah.
Let me see. What else have I tried?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of
I tried keto. I tried like a low carb, low sugar, which is a little bit different from keto, because with keto, the low carb, low sugar for me was the focus was on the carbs and the sugar, but the keto, the more focus is on like the fat. So I guess even though you might end up eating the same things, but like the low carb, like just focusing on low carbs and low sugars, you know, that was okay. But like I'm like a carby girl, so
me too.
That for me, like
I'm a carby and a sugary girl.
Yeah, the sugary I can do without, but I'm kind of like I like rice, you know, like I like, because my family, you know, they're from the islands. We used to eat rice and things like, you know, potato and things like that, you know, not potato, but like dashing and, you know, things like, you know, those ground provisions, grits, you know, like, like well, I didn't grow up on grits, but like stuff like, you know, root vegetables. We grew up on root vegetables. So I kind of like those kind of things. So that was kind of hard for me. Keto, you know, I respect those that could really stick to a good keto diet.
So you're saying what exactly is the keto diet?
So the keto diet, and I understand the concept of the keto diet, right? So with the keto diet, the whole premise is that, you know, when your body burns energy, usually your body will burn the carbs first, and then it'll start tapping into your fat stores. So that's why they say like walking is a good exercise, because then like, you know, you can get to your fat stores because you'll burn up, you know.
Okay.
So the whole idea is, okay, well, then you're going to reduce the amount of sugar, carb that your body is burning, and let your body burn fat first all the time. So the idea is to consume less foods, less carby type foods, and more foods that are has more fat content. So you'd probably eat like a good steak and some asparagus or something like that. Or it focuses on eating high fat foods. Like they have people that create these things called like it's like the coffee, the Bulletproof Coffee, where they have like black coffee and they put I want to say they put like butter in it or something crazy like that. Oh my. But I know on that, like, you know, the whole idea is to not eat like a lot of different fruits. Like you can eat strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, like strawberry, you know, those are the berries were okay because they were like a lot of antioxidants, and you know, they weren't as high in sugar, but you had to avoid things like an apple or banana, or, you know, like those
mangoes. Are some of the listen, I'm not gonna judge.
It was the apple for me. When you said the apple, that was
it's
what
the
was
mango
like,
for me, because listen,
I'm not gonna be able to do.
Mango is alkaline. Like mango can do no harm to your body. So why would any diet require you to not make your body better by making it alkaline?
It was between that and, you know, when I tried this diet, of course, I was, you know, eating meat. So, you know, hey, sure, great, I'll eat a steak, you know, no problem. You know, I would cook things like, you know, zucchini boats where you put the ground beef in the middle with the other vegetables or whatever. Okay, great. You know, that was a nice, you know, keto friendly meal because it kept the carbs low. But it was, I think at the end, just the idea of not being able to eat a nice bowl, like a fruit salad, or not being able to eat a mango, or not being able to eat an apple a day, which I like to do. It was just something about it that just kind of turned me off. And then I just didn't feel like it was something that I could sustain, like just being so restrictive. And I know it seems like it's an oxymoron because, you know, people know me be like, well, you're plant-based, you don't eat meat now, that's pretty restrictive. I know, but I don't feel like it's harmful to me. Like, I don't know, like it just seemed kind of like, man, I feel like I was eating a lot of meat at the time. And this was even before I stopped eating meat. Yeah. I just felt like I was eating a lot of foods and I'm just like, this can't be good for me.
Yeah. There were times where I used to think that like, all I needed to eat was meat. Am I really
putting butter in my coffee right now? What am I doing?
Yeah, no, like, I have never heard of that.
It was just it was just like a lot for me. It was just
Now,
So-
some people would say that vegan and plant-based are fad diet.
Well,
Right?
that's funny that you say that, because I had came across an article equating them to the trendy or fad type. But I will say, and we're going to talk about plant-based eating this month. We have a whole month worth of just awesome shows for you. And so all month long, we're going to be talking about this stuff. We're all going to be talking about food. But I think that, so one of the weeks we will dive into plant-based eating. So, without talking too much down that road, I will say, however, that with plant-based eating, for me, I think that it's more of adopting a lifestyle that was sustainable for me. It was something that it was like, I can do this, and I didn't have to give it any thought. And it was like, I don't have to count any calories, and I don't have to, I just put good food in my body.
You can
food
eat
that I
much
know
of it as you want.
That's good for me. I try to put as much as that in my body, and then keep as much as the bad stuff out of my body. I mean, that's just, so for me, I don't know. I don't see it as a fad diet, but I can see where people are using it like, I'm just going to do this for 30 days. Because that's the other thing with fad diets. There's a beginning and an end, 10 days, 30 days, 2 months, 3 months. If it's not talking about lifestyle changes, sustainable lifestyle changes, long-term changes, adopting new habits, behavioral changes, it really is just like a diet.
Yeah, and I don't think it
means
trendy.
that at the end of the 30 days, you're going to go back to doing whatever it is that you were doing before.
Yeah, and I wouldn't use the word trendy. I would say it's on the rise.
It's on the rise.
But I wouldn't say it's trendy.
No, I think that the trying it might be trendy. And it's funny because I started off going vegan for 30 days. For me, it was a challenge. For me, it was I'm going to keep it real with y'all, because I know y'all already know, like, it was just a 30-day challenge for her. That's what she said. Okay, fine. That's what I said. It was a 30-day challenge. But at the end of the 30 days, I felt so good that I wanted to keep going. So it's become a lifestyle for me. So I don't necessarily see it as fatty, but I can see how people may want to jump in and out of doing that and kind of create that.
I would say one more thing that we can tuck under that is fad diets. Your body is able to keep up for a long time. You can't keep up just eating cabbage soup for a long time. You can't just live off of cabbage soup.
Right.
But adopting other lifestyles, your body will allow you to continue them. But in other times they call them crash diets, where you don't eat anything, or something happens and then you just crash, and then you go to a place where you weren't, that was worse than where you were before.
I was reading an article about when Beyonce lost a lot of weight for Dreamgirls, and so they were calling it the Master Cleanse diet, where she would drink like lemons, cayenne pepper, and it was something else, maple syrup and something else. And it was like a masculine, and that's all she drank for like a week. And of course she lost a lot of weight, but I mean, the fact that she was drinking that stuff, I think it was like, was this apple cider vinegar? I don't know what else was in
with lemon.
Yeah, I don't know, but I know it was a lemon in it, and it's called the Master Cleanse, but it had lemon, cayenne pepper, and one other, I think, ingredient besides the cayenne pepper, and maple syrup. But I feel like, take that away, you could have replaced that with anything. You could have said, water with lemon and turmeric for a week, water with key limes
without
and
food for a week,
and murdoch root.
Yeah,
I mean, anything, for a week is still just starvation,
right? And you're gonna lose weight.
Lemonade for a week. It's the same thing.
Yes.
So I don't care what she was drinking.
That part is not important.
Great movie. I don't care what she was drinking.
Right.
It really was just a starvation situation, which is not healthy. No, you should never feel like you're starving yourself.
It's actually worse for your body because the next time your body gets a hold of fat, it's actually going to store it at a faster rate because it's like, you're going to starve us again. So we're going to get ourselves together because you're going to starve us again. And that is literally what happens. So your body is like, we don't trust you. We're going to pad ourselves.
Nope. And it's going to be hard to get off. Why do that to yourselves? Why do that to yourselves?
Right. Yeah.
So fad diets, stay away from them. Know how to spot them, know how to see them. I was reading something else today that was saying in 2020, with the lockdowns, there were people that were already overweight that gained more weight. People who may not have been overweight. Pretty much everyone, they called it the quarantine 15. So like everybody kind of put on a
I heard it as the COVID-19.
Yeah, there's the COVID-19 and then the quarantine 15 pounds. So the quarantine, I like that, the quarantine 19, quarantine 15, the COVID-19.
Right, 19 pounds.
So however much people weighed or gained over that time, that now fad diets are becoming a little bit more popular because I think, even in the summer in the summer, we were still, a lot of places were still on guard. And so finally people are starting to come out. You're starting to see more outside gatherings. And so, a lot of fad diets, people are hopping on the fad diets to try to, get there quickly and get there fast. But, there's downsides to that. Yeah, it may get you where you might want to be at that moment, but it's not sustainable. It's not going to keep you there. And so, really adopting some good habits is going to be the way to go as far as, really changing your mind on how you're eating. And we're going to dive a little bit more because it can be serious, doing the fad diets. It can be serious into and even leading into like food addictions or just addictions to that habit of eating and binging. That's an eating disorder. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. In the Nurses Station, and it's time for the Nurses Station. It is sponsored by the Bird Cares organization, nonprofit organization. Dealing with the challenges of today require problem solvers who bring different perspectives and are willing to take risks. The Bird Cares emerged out of a pursuit to inspire and support the community and a desire for actions to speak louder than words. Established in 2017, they're an organization driven by progressive ideas, bold action, and a strong foundation of support. The Bird Cares is dedicated to improving health outcomes in high-risk communities, one message and event at a time. Their mission is to inspire health and behavioral changes among families and communities through health promotion, target marketing, and education. Let the Bird Cares take your message from idea to reality. Yeah. So this week on the Nurses Station, we are talking food addiction. So right before that announcement, and if you are a partner out there and you'd like to sponsor the Nurses Station and sponsor the discussion that happens on the Nurses Station, visit www.powerplugradio.com so you can find out how you can sponsor this segment where we really kind of dive in, do a deep dive. We were talking a little bit about fad diets, and fad diets, we laughed at the stories, and but fad diets can sometimes be especially I would say like marathon fad dieting, where it's like you're on and off the roller coaster. Fad diet could also be a sign of like some underlying food addictions, cycles that are trying to be broken. Food addictions can be pretty serious, and they're defined. Food addiction is defined as an eating behavior involving the overconsumption of specific foods in an addiction-like manner. It is a problem. A lot of the mental health books have equated this to a similar addiction as to drugs. A study recently set up in January of 2022 that 20% of the general population could be diagnosed with a food addiction. And research has repeatedly showed that there's like really no difference between a food addiction and like a drug addiction.
I would say that's 110% true because they put the drugs in our food. So we're going to be addicted to the food.
Absolutely.
I mean, even things like milk, cheese, you are addicted. I'm going to say we are addicted to those things.
Right.
There
We're
are things in
addicted.
it that literally make us addicted to it. So if they put the drugs in our food, then when we eat the food, we're going to be addicted to it.
Absolutely. And you know, it's so funny that we see, you can watch like old, you know, documentaries and movies on how they used to make stuff, how they used to just make things back in the day, and the amount of sugar they used to add to things. I mean, even Coca-Cola, we know what else they used to add to Coca-Cola.
Cocaine. Absolutely.
Or how they used to add amphetamine, not meth, but amphetamines, to things for, you know, that was basically your early version of a diet pill was, you know, an amphetamine.
Yeah. And
That
sugar.
make you bounce around the wall and just, you know, exert a lot of energy.
Yeah.
But the sugars,
And they resemble the powder, the dust. Like, and they even have the taste of it. Like I remember the Fun Dip, the powdery pixie sticks and stuff like that.
oh, that was great.
Sugar is literally listed as an addiction.
Those were great.
Listen,
You said
I
the
used
Fun
to,
Dip,
but don't get it
yeah.
wet because then it wouldn't come out no more. You got to rip it again.
Yeah.
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 But yeah,
That was good times.
don't make me nostalgic.
You just made me nostalgic. Fun Dip was good times.
Yes.
But, you know, there's an underlying problem of sugar also being added to, you know, foods, really being added to a lot of different things. And, you know, the brain responds to different stimuli. And, you know, when you're talking about foods that, you know, there's certain drugs that basically open up receptors and, you know, dump dopamine. I think Molly's is one of those that dumps all your dopamine and it just makes you feel really good. Well, food does the same thing in that it raises certain hormone levels that, you know, produces more serotonin. It makes you happy. And it's the connection that people have to food that creates the addiction.
Yes.
So how, you know, is it, you know, food can be used as a comforting measure. It's, you know, when you're happy, you know, celebrating with food and celebrating with, or feeling down and using food as a comfort or, you know, a reason to, you know, do something. I mean, that's
right. Using food as something to do, and not as nourishment.
It's a real problem.
It starts when we're young. How many times do children come in? Can I have a snack? And you know they just ate. You know they're not hungry. They just don't have nothing to do.
Right.
So they're gonna come ask for something to chew.
We should have gave them some water and something on their way. That's
They
what
ask
they
you for
should do
something to
us.
eat. Yeah.
Go drink some water.
Then you find out, or I'm hungry. Well, some apples and oranges over there. No, I'm good. Well, you ain't hungry then.
So, you know, when we're thinking about like food addictions and what they can cause, not only just unhealthy relationships with food, but it can also cause unhealthy relationships with body image, with self. You know, when we think about somebody that has an eating disorder, when I think about somebody that has an eating disorder, I always think about like an anorexic or a bulimic, because you think eating disorder, you think that's the image that you have, someone that, you know, is really, really skinny, really small, frail, eating disorder. But having a food addiction is just as much a eating disorder.
Yes.
Something's wrong with your eating patterns and your eating habits. You know, it's very important that we also look at ways to spot food addiction, you know, that may occur even within ourselves. I mean, it could be an item. It could be, you know, what is that thing? What is that go-to? What is it that you go to when you're feeling, you know, underwhelmed or overwhelmed or,
Because we hear about people going to buy ice cream if they're sad and eating a tub of ice cream.
Yeah, that's common. That's
so
common.
That's a great question. What is the thing that you crave when that feeling comes?
What is the thing that you crave when that feeling comes? But I think that, like, you know, people don't, I won't say that people don't realize, but I will say that maybe not in that moment people will, you know, choose, because it really only takes like one good time to, you know, start doing something and be consistent at doing that thing. Be consistent at keep showing up for that thing. So let's just say that every time I'm feeling a certain kind of way, instead of using food as my comfort or the thing that go to, even with celebrating, okay, yeah, I'm celebrating, I'm gonna go to a dinner. Maybe instead of, you know, going to a dinner, I'll buy myself something. You know, buy yourself something, like replace the habit with something else. It really only takes one good time, and then you keep doing that thing. And it's the consistency and keep doing that thing that then changes the habit, so that, you know, but it takes a while to get to that point for people who have real food addictions.
Yes. I also think it's important to know how your body feels outside of eating those things, because a lot of times we don't have anything to compare it to. If we're used to feeling this type of way, you know, then like, so when we were in middle school, we could have ate hot chips for breakfast, right? Today, oh my gosh, I will holler. And then the students I work with, they are really eating hot Cheetos for breakfast. And I'm like, now I see myself as those teachers telling us, you have no idea what you're doing to your body. Like, you got
this early in the morning.
You know, yes. So, but they don't know how their body would feel otherwise.
Right.
And I know that's what happened for me once I, maybe it was an experience. I don't remember what it was, but I started to realize how my body felt when I changed what I ate. And I know it, so then I would be like, oh my gosh, I ate that. I feel bad now. Oh my gosh, I feel the sluggishness.
Right.
Or, oh, I feel the bloating. Yes. So it's like, oh, I don't like this feeling. I'm going to avoid that. So I'm going to avoid that food.
Yeah.
So,
and it's one of those things where in going plant-based, I also discovered that I have a gluten sensitivity. Something that was showing up before, but I didn't realize in all the mess that's what that was. But now that, you know, I've removed, you know, meat products from my diet, you know, I've always known about how my body reacts to dairy. So, you know, that's got to go. And now I'm like looking at, okay, well, why do I still feel like something's off? Something's weird. And I used to get this rash, and I finally went to the doctor, and the doctor said, you have a gluten sensitivity, you know? And so I immediately started looking that up. Okay, so what does this look like? And, you know, those foods now have to be on my list of things that, you know, I avoid, because like you said, you know, immediately when you're eating something, and it's just like, okay, that didn't agree with me, but I don't, and I don't want to feel like that anymore. So I'm gonna avoid that. Yes. And you know, move more towards. But you know, when we're talking, you know, food addictions and sugars, I remember when we talk about fad diets. You know, when I say, okay, I'm going, you know, no sugar, whatever. Those first few days are really difficult. Now, I will say, if you've ever watched my fasting video, 36-hour fast, I love a good 36-hour fast. You know, I think that, you know, every now and then when I'm feeling like, okay, I'm overwhelmed and, you know, things are kind of out of order, I like to do a good 36-hour fast. But I will tell you, so I usually start, let's just say this past weekend, I did a 36-hour fast this past weekend. So like on a Friday night, midnight. Okay. Friday at midnight, or Saturday at midnight, really, because it's going into Saturday. Go to sleep. Wake up. Okay. Then you're like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm supposed to be fasted, right? So you're like, all right, let me just get some tea. Let me make some tea. Let me make something hot. You're doing good for about a good maybe 3-4 hours. Then it sucks. I'm not gonna lie. I like doing it because I like the feeling afterwards. But I would say for about a good 12 to 15 hours, it sucks. Because your body is just craving the sugar. And even if, you know, you're like, okay, well, I mean, because sugar is everywhere. It's in everything, you know, like I'm trying to avoid sugar or whatever. It's in everything, you know? So it's really like that time when you're just like, this sucks. And that's the moment that makes me realize, oh man, you know, your body's basically detoxing at this point. Your liver's dumping any excess sugar that it has. It's dumping it. And, you know, things are being cleaned out. And, you know, usually when I do this, I drink a lot of tea and a lot of water. And I just flush myself out, you know. I might start off with like a cleanse, but I just flush myself out. But I will tell you, so let's just say all day Saturday, go to sleep. Sunday morning, I usually write that last like 12 hours. I feel fantastic. Yeah, you just get like a burst of energy. Like I got up Sunday morning, I was like, I'm gonna clean the house and clean the house. You get a burst of energy, but still drinking lots of water. And then I'm like really conscious. Okay, when it's finally time for me to break my fast, I'm very specific about what I choose to break my fast with. And I like that. Yeah, I like being in that moment where I'm just like, you know, I have an opportunity now to just, you know, put some good things. Because I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling sluggish. I was feeling like, oh man. And so, you know, but that was something that I had to, you know, that was part of, and that's why I say, you know, and when we will get to that in a couple of weeks about the plant-based eating, because, you know, that's sort of like a lifestyle that I've adopted of being really intentional about what I put in my body, because I don't like feeling bad. I have very sensitive stomach and I don't like feeling bad. You know, like, yeah, I want to associate food with good things, but I don't want to feel bad or guilty about it. So that's important for me.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of feeling bad or the feelings, our feelings are created in our gut.
See, I knew I was on to something.
Serotonin, dopamine. You know, our serotonin is our extreme happiness. Dopamine is our reward and motivation. And those are, if you don't know what those are the chemicals. They're neurotransmitters, and they communicate messages to our brain. And the serotonin, what would be good to do, which I love that Yummy Wellness,
Yara, yes, she's gonna be back next week.
Yes, that you have to pay attention to the hormones that the food can release, because say you're eating something that you know releases serotonin and dopamine. That is wonderful. But at the same token, there are also other chemicals or hormones that can be released as well. So you really feel as good as you eat. You really feel as good as you eat.
Yep. The enzymes too. You got to be careful about the enzymes that you require in your stomach to really break down foods. Like, you know, I'll tell you, like tigers and those kind of like carnivore, they're true carnivores. Like you can tell by the way their teeth are shaped. They have a high acid contents in their stomach to really break down that meat. They're able to tear apart meat in a way that, you know, we don't tear apart.
Their intestinal tracts are much shorter. So they pass it.
Exactly. So it really, you know, makes me think, like, you know, what is my body designed to actually be consuming? You know, and some things we just don't have the enzymes or the capacity to break down. I think my body ran out of enzymes for shellfish. I think that's why
that makes sense. I think stuff like that does happen. Your body's like, I don't have any more.
I don't have any more for this. I don't have no more for you for this. We done.
Right.
It's over.
I don't have it.
So I had to stop eating it. So, you know.
And then as we get addicted, same with addiction to food, our bodies, like, we get addicted to moods. Like if someone is always angry, you get addicted to that. Like your body starts to look for that chemical when you're not feeling angry at the certain time you're supposed to be angry. So your body starts to make the connection between the food that releases the hormone that will then make us feel this angry hormone that we're used to feeling. Only because that your body isn't used to change. It's used to a system or a program.
Right.
And I get more into that another time.
No, but I 100% agree.
Yeah.
We have to reprogram ourselves and reprogram our bodies, reprogram our minds. Even with like getting up in the morning and thinking that your body needs coffee to wake up. Fine. And I will say that was one of the things, when you talked about earlier about how food makes you feel or how they, affect your mood. That's why I think that's one of the top reasons why I'm still plant-based 3 years later is because I like the way it made me feel.
Yes.
I like the way it made, just like the way it made me feel. Like I felt better.
And that's why there's evidence of literally changing your diet, breaking your depression.
Yep.
Completely breaking it because you're giving your body the happy hormones all the time.
I'm going to repost this. So if you go to My Better Living YouTube, I'm going to post it on the socials, but go back and watch 2 videos. If you are on a journey and you're joining us and this is your place to be on Tuesdays at 8:30, 2 videos that I want you to go back and watch, and that's mindful weight loss and 36-hour fasting. If you want to try something, I'm telling you, it's just such a time of clarity. And usually during that time, I'm just, really reflective. For me, it's like a reset. I was feeling overwhelmed. I was feeling like, okay, I had a lot going on. My stress levels was kind of going up, and I'm trying to be better about taking breaks when I need to take a break, because otherwise you end up having a breakdown. And so that's something that I said, okay, I'm going to sit put for the weekend, and I'm really going to just, fast and organize myself so that I can pick back up and keep going for like another 6 weeks. And I might be in this place in 6 weeks again, where I'm just like, it's time for me to sit down, reset. I'm telling you, the last 12 hours, it sounds like it's crazy, but those last 12 hours, man, you feel like you can conquer the world.
Something I love that you said was that when you were coming out of your fast, that you were very intentional about the foods that you chose. And even on a smaller scale, we can do that every day.
Yep.
Because break fast or breakfast is you breaking your fast.
Exactly what it is.
So you have the opportunity every day to start a new cycle or try something different, or try that thing again to see if you can hold on to it. So
I broke my fast with a fruit salad. See, this is why I can't go keto. Had some grapes and some strawberries. Something else. I think a halo. Just something simple, but it did the job. Yeah, it did exactly what it needed to do. But you're absolutely right. When you break your fast, you have an opportunity in that moment to say, hey, what am I going to put in my body? What am I going to put, what am I going to choose to eat in this moment right now? So, but as far as food addictions, I had this, let me look this back up really quick, because I wanted to talk a little bit about recognizing, food addictions, and recognizing, when you or somebody maybe next to you, close to you, has it, I feel like too often, we may see things, and especially if it's somebody that you love, help somebody out. You don't have to like.
I'm not saying don't help nobody out. I agree. The sigh was because a lot of people don't want the help at that time. Yeah. They don't want the help so much that they get offended because you decided to change your eating that has nothing to do with them. So some people are not ready, but do your best to spread the good news.
Encourage somebody. Yes. Right?
Yes.
Encourage somebody. Yes. So a couple, before we go tonight, just a couple signs of a food addiction. So maybe you just want to evaluate yourself and say, hey, maybe I need to push back a little bit. But getting cravings despite being full is, so, you're full, but you still want stuff. Eating much more than you intended, so overeating. And they have said that overeating was like an underlying risk factor for later developing severe food addiction and, even, diabetes, type 2 diabetes, and, obesity and things like that. Eating until feeling excessively stuffed. So you eat until you're just like sick. Guilt. You feel guilty afterwards. You feel guilty after overeating. And making up excuses. Sometimes you even, blame your emotions when it really isn't your emotions. It's just the food itself could just be the thing. And then maybe hiding your eating from others. So, maybe eating a lot in your car, eating a lot alone by yourself, eating things alone by yourself that maybe you wouldn't eat if you were around other people. Things like that.
Yeah.
So recognizing when, hey, maybe something's going on. And the reason why I told you to watch the mindful weight loss video is that, there's information in there just talking about, evaluating your relationships that you have with food and what that means to you.
Yes.
And that's really, the underlying message here is really evaluating your relationship that you may have with food and food items.
Yes. There are several quotes that say if you can control what you consume, you can control a lot of other things about your life.
Yes.
So the way that you eat shows a lot about your decisions
True.
and decision making. So make good decisions.
Right. And, a lot of, when you think about it, sometimes what we eat and what we put in our bodies is probably the only things that we can control.
Right.
Sometimes.
Yes.
You have kids and you can't even control them. So
right. Right.
You just, you can't control your job. You can't control your spouse, your other partner. I mean, that's really the only thing you can't control. So why not be really good at that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Really good at putting really good food. So that's our theme this month. We're talking about foods. Next week, we have the Women of Wellness that are coming back. We have Yara coming back. Hopefully, she brings some smoothies. We have Lola Benet. And we're going to talk about, it's also Women's History Month. So we're going to talk about women's health next week with the Women of Wellness. So that's going to be awesome. Week after that, we're going to talk plant-based eating. My favorite subject is plant-based eating. We're really going to dive into plant-based eating. If you want to give it a try, we're going to talk about that. And then after that, we're going to have Melissa rolling back on the 4th Thursday, and we're going to talk about gut health. We're going to talk about the gut and the gut health, the center of it all and what that means. And so as I was thinking about this month, I realized that there's a 5th Tuesday. We're so lucky. There's a 5th Tuesday this month. And so I'm thinking that the last Tuesday of this month, we're going to talk a little bit about maybe we'll make it a transitional Tuesday. Maybe we'll touch base with some people who've adopted some new changes this year. And we'll have them call in or send us some testimonies about the things that they've changed. So, Transformation Tuesdays is always like, oh yeah, I lost 80 pounds or I lost such and such and such. But, I think it's just as nice to know if, you've started drinking more water, if you finally went to that meditation class or you finally went to that yoga class, and I don't want to write myself off. There's still some things on my list of things that I wanted to do and I want to, but sometimes we think, oh, if they're not done now, they can never happen, but they can happen. So even if you didn't do everything that's on your list, it's still early. It's only March 1st. There's still time to add something to your list or add something to, something that you wanted to do. It's not too late to switch up what you're already doing if it's not working for you. There's plenty of time to do that. This has been My Better Living. I am Nurse Shar here with my co-host, LaTreca Ali. I send you off with great greetings for a great month. This month is Nutrition Month, so we'll be talking about nutrition all month long. You can follow me, Nurse Shar, on IG and Twitter at Nurse Shar RN, also on TikTok at Nurse Shar RN, and on YouTube at My Better Living, and Facebook My Better Living. How can they get in contact with you, LaTreca?
Okay, LaTreca Ali on Facebook, Zenesy on the Rocks on Instagram, Zenesy on the Rocks on TikTok, and that's all I got today.
Thank you to our sponsors, The Bird Cares. We will see you next week.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.
My Better Living. Spend some time with Nurse Shar for honest and healing conversation about the benefits, challenges, and real-life struggles of living healthy, well, fit, and free. Real discussion for real people who want real change. My Better Living. This podcast is being broadcast on Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams. You can download Power Plug Radio app on Google Play or the Apple iStore.